because I don't have lights and my power bank just suddenly, I'm not sure I understand what is happening to it. Then I have to put on my generator and the noise is so much. And I want to do this because it's what we are doing this month and we are not coming live to get it and you will not come back and watch the replay. See, like I always say to you, I'll be super angry if you don't take action at the end of the day. Because if you're not taking action, it means that all my time coming here, you can see that this video is not so clear. That's because I'm struggling with alternative source of light. So if you don't take action, I'll be very angry because I know that your result is not in just, your result is in your action. And if you don't come to class, if you don't learn, how will you even know how to take action, you know? So that is it. So I am going to be super upset and maybe we are going to stop our live classes, we're going to stop our video classes if I do not come back tomorrow and see that almost everybody, at least 60% of the population has seen this video. If 60% of the population has not seen this video, then we'll have to stop our live classes and we have to stop our video recording. So we just control the activities in the group. You get your e-materials, you get your e-materials, then you get your interactions in the group. That's it, that's how you want it, then I'm ready. Anyways, today is our month of, you know what we are doing this month, organizational skills for our children and planning our family properly, planning our families properly. So we are looking at our family framework, we are looking at our family constitution, we are looking at our family structure. The idea is when you have a place organized, it becomes easier. The same thing that happens to you in parenting. When you have your structure, you have your constitution, it becomes a lot easier. Imagine if there were no constitutions in the country, what do you think will happen? Everyone would just behave the way they like, we behave randomly, we do whatever we like, and that will not be good. So, constitution is an amazing tool. We already have the material. Framework structure is an amazing tool. You already have the material. So, however, I'll come here next week and the other week to explain further how we can craft ours. Now, before we go into crafting our constitution and structure, I want us to look at framework, our family framework, because it's the foundation. Your family framework is like your pillar. It is likened to when you want to build a house. You know, we started here in this academy with a vision. I'm sure by now everyone has a vision. If you don't have a family vision, then I do not know what you are waiting for. If you have not crafted your family vision, you have not followed our task, your family vision board, your inspiration board, then I'm sorry, I don't know what you are waiting for really, because it's an order. If you follow it, by the end of the year, you are going to see amazing results. Not just the ones we are sharing. The ones we are sharing in the group, they are just tips of the iceberg. You are going to get really results, good results, amazing results in your parenting journey, and things are going to be a lot easier if you follow and you take action. So I was talking about framework. Now we started with a vision. Your vision is like, let me again liken it to building a house. You have a house, you want to build a house, you go and meet an architect, they design a house for you. Oh, they show you the colors, how the rooms will be and everything. You know, you literally see it. You know, you can imagine yourself in the house already. That is your parenting vision. Your vision, you know, what you see. So it is based on that vision, you have recommendations. Okay, you want to build a story building, this is the size of block you use, these are the irons you are going to use, this is how your pillar should be, you want to build a skyscraper, this is what you should do. It is your vision determines what you are going to put in it. Now, after your vision, you actually have your skeletal work, which is your framework per se. You have your skeletal work, which is your framework. You know, so your skeletal work is such that we design like the shape, how the house is going to be structured at the end of the day. Your frame will be where your frame wants to be, your pillars will be where your pillars want to be, everything will be where everything wants to be, so that you can fit in other things. At the end of the day, your house comes out beautiful, just like it is in your vision. So that is the framework we want to look at today. So before you create your constitution, like I always say, you cannot add, my constitution I gave you is just a guide. The structure is a guide. Yes, ma, architecture, thank you so much, ma. They are guides for you to use. They are not for you to just adopt. No, because you and I don't have the same vision. You may want to be the skyscraper, and I want to be the 10-story building. We don't have the same vision. Someone else may want to build just a simple bungalow. We don't have the same vision, so you cannot just adopt my vision. You cannot adopt my constitution and my structure. You just need to do what fit into your vision. I remember one time I gave someone got the constitution, he said to me, oh, some of the things you put there are so rigid. I said, yes, I understand they are so rigid. It is because of actually what I want to teach my children. People always say, oh, I'm rigid when it comes to self-discipline. I say, yes, it is something that is very important to me, because even though I am someone who is naturally self-disciplined, and my siblings also, I could say, okay, we're raised in such a manner that, okay, we have reasonably extent self-discipline. I have seen people go from grace to grace because of lack of self-discipline. So because of that, I am super extra intentional when it comes to self-discipline. I pay extra attention to self-discipline. Okay, so let's go into our framework today. So my constitution may be rigid for you. You need to have your framework in place, like you have your vision already, to determine your constitution and your structure. Don't worry about your constitution, we are also going to do it together. Don't worry about your structure, we are going to do it together. Let's go to the framework. After the class, as usual, I'm going to be sharing with you a kind of a mini material ebook for you to use to sit down and look at your framework again. Let's go. We already know that the first thing we do as in the academy is to have our vision. Your vision determines everything you want to do. So the first thing is to have your vision, the next is to have your values, and the next thing is to have your goals. One thing about vision, one thing about your values is your values have to align with your vision. Your values must align with your vision. Your values must align with your vision. Your values cannot just be random. So you need to have your vision, and then you have your values. You break your vision. You actually break your vision down into realistic paths, realistic goals. And for your goals, then you have your values. It's important. That's the very first thing you want to do. As a parent, what is your vision? What is your long-term goal as a parent? What are your core values you want to instill in your children? The very first thing you want to do when you're talking about framework, you identify your parenting style. Describe your current parenting style. Are you authoritative, permissive? Now, why is this important? Because you want to understand that your parenting style must align with your vision, your goals, and your values. Your parenting style must align. So coincidentally, I think something last week or earlier this week, I'm not sure. So I was in a space with a particular group of people, and a woman was calling her daughter Ungozi. So I thought it was the daughter's name, so I was cool until someone asked her, what was it Ungozi, and she now said no, that the Ungozi Kojuwela is her daughter's role model or something like that. That her daughter is going to be the next biggest woman after Ungozi. So in my mind I said amen. So something I noticed along the line was that she now said something that don't stain your fingers so that you can have your fingers to work in World Bank. So the thing got funny, so I got laughing, and I was now asking myself, excuse me, this woman, do you know that Ngozi started cooking when she was 5? You don't want your daughter to have her fingers stained, yet you want her to be like Ngozi, you know. And Ngozi had her fingers stained at 5. So I just said it in my head because it was not a place I could start talking, you know. I just said it in my head and I just laughed about it. So you want to make sure that your parenting, so you want to identify your parenting style, that okay, what is my parenting style and what is the parenting style that will help me achieve my vision overall. In creating your framework, you must identify your parenting style. Then you set expectations and boundaries. Expectations and boundaries. These are some of the things we do, we have already in our constitutions. So expectations and boundaries. I expect you to follow this. I expect you to identify your parenting style. I expect you to state your expectations and boundaries, because yes, you are alive, thank you, ma'am. Because your framework is like your mind mapping. You are mapping out the things you are going to put in your constitution at the end of the day. And after creating your constitution, then you have your structure to be able to have your constitution internalized. For your constitution to be consistent, then you have a structure. That's why structure is the last thing we are going to do. So your framework is you sitting back and reflecting. Sit back and reflect on every single thing you want to do as a family. What are the pillars that will hold your family? That is your framework. You sitting back and you reflecting on everything. So you want to look at the main pillars holding families, and one of the major pillars holding your family or any family has to be communication. Communication, yes. Communication. So in your constitution also, you are going to talk about communication. Define your communication. How do you want your children to communicate with each other? How do you want you and your spouse to communicate with each other? Because you are modeling it for your children. Communication is key. You also want to look at discipline and consequences. Yes, discipline and consequences. Before you even look at discipline and consequences, you want to look at what are the issues you always have in your family. For example, the issues you have are not the issues I have. Simple truth. When parents complain about it, so many things parents complain about, I don't struggle with them. They complain about, going to spend the money, their children are, the drama, the going to school early morning drama. I don't have that complaint. Talking about children taking what doesn't belong to them, I don't have that complaint. Talking about children telling lies or not being truthful, I don't have that complaint. Talking about children not wanting to do their chores, I don't have that complaint. So I don't have all that complaint that you may have. So I have my different complaints that I have that you may not also have. So you want to actually understand, look at the complaints you have about your children. Then you want to look at, we also have a material here that talks about reasons behind causes of misbehavior. So you want to take the causes of these misbehaviors and look at the consequences that are befitting. Like I said, this is like a mind mapping. You are doing skeletal work, because I really want everyone at the end of the day to create their constitution, to create their structure. And like I always say, I cannot come to your house to do it for you. I cannot magically enter inside you to do it for you now. If I could, I would have. If I could, I would have, because I want everyone to take action and I want you to see results. If I could, I would have. You are the only one that can do it. I understand you are very busy, but hey, what is important to us? We make our time for it. You don't have to sit down and do it all at once. It can be 10 minutes every day. These things we put down, it cannot be 10 minutes every day. What is my parenting style? You want to look at it. Okay, what are the behaviors I complain about? You want to look at it. You go back to the ebook we have, the video you have. Like I said, you can watch the video. You don't have to see my face. No, my face is not what is giving you the message. It is my voice. So you can be cooking in the kitchen. Yes, I do that a lot. When my washing machine got spoiled, I was really pressured to go and fix it. I was so pressured to go and fix it. However, I couldn't get a place here to fix it. They told me that they had to get someone from Onitsha to come and fix it in Agbo. And I was telling myself that I may not have the resources to have somebody coming from all the way from Onitsha to Agbo to fix it. They'll have to charge me transport fare. What if they come, the part they want to repair is not there, they will go and come back. So I didn't have the resources. So I resorted to, okay, let's be washing with our hands. And guess what? What I do, one of the things that has seen me through is anything I want to listen to. I listen to it. Excuse me, who is there? What do you want, please? I'm in class now, please. Thank you. I'll be with you shortly, okay? Go and sleep. I'll meet you up. Sorry, and Google. Okay, so what I do is when I'm washing, I play whatever video I want to listen to. I don't YouTube or anything, any person, anybody I'm following, minister or anything. I'm hearing their voice. If they say something that is so striking and I must see their body language, I'll have to quickly go back to it, just rewind a bit and watch it. And it has saved me a great deal. It has helped me listen to a lot of the people I actually want to listen to. So you don't even need to see my voice. You can be bathing, just by this MP3 player. It's the MP3 player they call it. You can be bathing and you are listening to it. That is it. You can be doing anything you are doing and you are listening to it. You are cooking, you are listening to it. You know, just 5-10 minutes a day. The next day you continue. At the end of the day, even in your busy schedule, you are able to listen to. You are able to attend classes or do the replay. So that's discipline and consequences. The next thing is we're talking about family activities and time. That's one of the major things we also need to consider, the major pillar that holds family time. Spending time with your family, not just time but quality time. So you actually want to see how you can prioritize activities for your family, how you can deliberately create time for family time, to bond, to check your children's school work, to catch up on what's happening in their lives. Another thing you want to create, another thing you want to deliberately look into in your constitution or your structure. That's what's your approach to education and skills development? How will you support your children's learning and personal growth? Now, these are the things you want to look at in your family constitution at the end of the day. Emotional support. How will you provide emotional support for your children? How do you plan to address their emotional needs? How do you plan to do all of this? Health and well-being. This is very important. How do you plan to prioritize your children's health and well-being? You know, do you have something like is it HMO they call it? Do you have HMO? Do you have a quick first aid clinic that they can run? So now, you know, one of the things that happens with having your family's framework is that it makes your family structure. It makes parenting, it makes family life a lot easier. I tell you, it makes your family life a lot easier. It's just like everything is already in place. So all you need to do is just to walk into it. Everything is set to walk into it. You don't think your children will be perfect. No, it will not be perfect. However, you are not going to be agitated. You're not going to be stressed. You know, everything is already is being proactive. So even when they misbehave, you know what to respond. Even when they come and ask you questions, you know where you are responding from. You know you are responding from a certain place. So everything is just structured. That is what happens when you have your family structure. So imagine if you have your health insurance or something, and your child is not feeling well, you know exactly what to do. You know exactly what to do or where to go. Even if you are not available, you have your maid, they know where to go. Even if your maid is not available, your child falls ill in school, the school exactly knows where to go because you have indicated it already. So it takes the parenting pressure away from you. Having a structure takes pressure away from you. Having constitution, they take pressure away from you because everything has been proactively dealt with. So you also want to look at your technology and screen time, rules around them. Do your children use technology too much? You know, do you want to set rules around the technology? Of course you should. Are they learning from technology? You know, how do you want them to treat technology, phones, video games, TV, and all of that? Siblings relationship. You actually want to sit down and look at your children and ask, okay, talking about technology, you want to look, okay, which of this technology will benefit them? Well, which of them will benefit them? How much time do they need to put into each of them that will actually benefit them? You're looking at siblings relationship. Okay, how do your children presently relate with each other? What is your vision about siblings relationship? So what do you want to do about it? So you want to identify that, okay, my children, presently they are always fighting, and they are very close. One of them doesn't like to share. You want to sit down and look at this. Like I said, your framework is like you know, reflecting on the pillars you want to put in place at the end of the day. So you also want to look at self-care as a parent, because the truth of the matter is, if you are not caring for yourself, you are always going to be overwhelmed, you are always going to be stressed, you are always going to be burnt out. So how do you care for yourself as a parent? How do you care for yourself? Do you go for spa dates with yourself? Do you have girls you hang out with? Do you have boys you hang out with? How do you care for yourself? As a parent, it is important you sit down and think about how you care for yourself so that you can always be full and be able to give your children from a full place. So let's look at conflict again, resolution. How do you resolve conflict in a family? Because no matter how much we love each other, we are always going to fight. It is indispensable. It is a major part of relationships. They always say the tongue and the teeth they fight, let alone human beings. So how do you intend to resolve conflicts in your family? Is it silent treatment you want to give? Is silent treatment okay in your family? So you want to look at it. And now again, every single thing you are putting together has to bear in mind your overall vision. Your overall vision. Your vision is your guide. Your vision is your guide. This is why you need to create your vision. It is your guide. For example, I always say that I actually want my children to be bonded. I want my children to have this unity at the end of the day. So it's everything I do when it comes to setting rules and regulations for them, when it comes to me talking to them, when it comes to me celebrating them, I bear it in mind that bonding, family bond is one of my visions. So you want to ask yourself, what is your family vision? Then you want to talk about how to resolve conflict amongst your children. Let's look at financial education. Is another major aspect you want to look at. You want to look at how you educate your children about money, budgeting, and financial responsibility. What strategies are you going to use to instill financial responsibility in your children? Let's look at it. Are you going to start giving them money to save, like piggy bank, let them be saving money? Is that how you are going to enlighten them? Are you going to have them, set up small business there and there, and they see how the money goes and comes in? Are you going to say, okay, let me put you in charge of family budgets for the month? You want to sit back and see what is going to align with your vision to raise financially responsible children. A lot, you want to also look at character building. You want to look at character building in your parenting. Now, there are key aspects. You also want to look at roles and responsibility of parents. Roles and responsibility. Your roles and responsibility as a mom or as a dad, and your spouse's roles and responsibilities, and your children's roles and responsibilities. You want to sit down before you create your constitution and your structure. You want to look at roles and responsibilities, privileges and rights of every family member having a family structure. Yes, ma'am, absolutely true. I am a witness to that. When I don't have structure, I am stressed. For example, we've been in Agbo for a while now, and I won't say I have an effective structure. When we were in Lagos, it was so easy. Everything was just like plug and play. It was just a routine, But now since we came here, it's been from I want to create a structure, we alter it, I want to do this, time, everything is just like, I am not, I used to think I've always known that I don't adapt easily, so I'm still kind of struggling, and it's really affecting my mental health in a way. So I have not been able to create an effective structure, and because of that, I am just dragging in so many things I am doing. So structure takes the stress away from you. Structure helps a great deal in your parenting. Okay, I talked about roles. So you sit back and identify your roles. As a father, what are your roles? As a mom, what are your roles? As a children, what are their roles? Now remember that the roles of every member of the family, we teach them the roles of every member of the family. We reinforce your values. The roles of every member of the family, we actually model to them. And so your roles have to be towards your vision. Like I always say, for example, if you know that, I want my children to have marriages that are successful, you actually want to look at, let me model success in our marriage to my children for them to actually learn from, So you want to look at the situation like, this 2024, there's already a clamor for, men should cook, men should do all of that. Then when your child is married in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years time, it's definitely going to get worse. So what do you want to do? Your spouse now needs to, your husband, for the wife, now need to say, okay, I need to deliberately be handy in the kitchen so that my kids can see that no, being in the kitchen is not a woman's thing. And for the men here also, you can also choose to say, okay, let me be a bit more handy in the kitchen so that my kids will know that being handy in the kitchen is not a woman's thing. And the reason is so that tomorrow you don't know who they are going to marry. They may marry someone who believes that, oh, kitchen is a woman's thing. And at the end of it, they may marry someone who thinks, no, everybody can be in the kitchen. And you have raised your children, you have modeled that only women can be in the kitchen. And tomorrow it becomes a major clash in their marriage. You can never tell. You know, because especially this era that I have seen so many men, they are now the, oh, thank you so very much, man. Someone says, please, let's like this video. I appreciate you, man. So especially in this era when I have seen men, now the table is now changing. Men are now men are now the ones staying at home, taking care of the wife, the children. When the moms go to work, I've seen people say, "Oh, my wife doesn't cook well, so I'm in charge of the kitchen completely." I've heard and seen a very many men say things like that. Now the truth of the matter is, so when when this happens, now the daughter they are raising, because you know when we say yes to one thing, we are saying no to another thing. It's not a bad thing. Hell no, it is definitely not a bad thing. But when these daughters now grow up, they will expect that they will marry men, they will expect the men to be the one in the kitchen. And maybe these men, on the other hand, they grew up in a home where women are in the kitchen. It becomes a major fight. Now this is where we all need to, you need a balance. You need a balance in it. So we are talking about roles and responsibilities. We want to look at roles and responsibilities of individuals in the family. Now, lastly, I want to talk about is also family meetings. So you also want to create a structure around that. How often do we meet as a family? What are we going to discuss as a family? You know, growing up, one of the things my parents used to do that we never liked was our meetings were during morning devotions. We never had meetings, family meetings. Now, our meetings were always during morning devotions, and they were to compare us, criticize us, condemn us, and all those many things. So morning devotion was not what we looked up to. So as a family, you want to create your meetings away from family time. You want to create your meetings away from prayer time. So you want to deliberately say, okay, monthly, at the end of every month, we are going to meet as a family. Okay, I have a few others I want to say, but I didn't want this class to be more than 30 minutes. We also look at feedback. Feedback, it is very important. It is super important that we get feedback. We create a system for feedback for our children, from our children. What do I mean by feedback? We are the ones always judging our children. We should also allow them to tell us what we do as a family. So as you create your structure, you want to create days, months, days for feedback. It can be once a month, it can be once a week. Create months for feedback, or days for feedback. How do you create it? It can be a system where you ask your children, okay, what are we doing that you do not like? Ours is fun filled. Oh, man, that's how it's supposed to be. What are we doing that you do not like? What do you want us to change? How have we not met your needs in the last 1 month? You say to your children, they can have a jar, put a jar somewhere, just throw it inside. Or anytime something happens, I used to do this for my children in Lagos. I just tell them that anytime something happens between you and your sibling, just write it and drop it in the jar. So at the end of the month, when we are having our family meeting, we bring them all out and we look at it and we now talk about it. So it actually helps them to minimize their retaliation or snapping back. You know, when they know that they are just going to write it and put it somewhere, they just write it and then they put it somewhere. So at the end of the day, we look at it together and everybody kind of apologizes, everybody makes up, you know. We used to have that. That is a feedback. It can also be that what they did, what mommy did, and all of that. It's a feedback. It can also be one of the things I also used to do in Lagos. I did it a couple of times. Was my children, one day they will just be in charge. They'll be in charge of the whole parenting. They'll be the parents for a day. So that way I'm watching them, seeing how they are doing the things they are doing. So if they raise their voice at something, I'll say, okay, maybe this is how I do. If they threaten, I'll say, okay, this is how I do. If they don't pay attention, maybe I'm asking a question, they just ignore. I'll say, okay, this is what I do. You know, the first time it was not easy because they will always want to say, oh, it's mommy, so let's give mommy that respect. So I had to keep telling them that no, be the mom, act exactly the way I act, you know. That is feedback. You are seeing how you actually act towards your children. Know if it's something that is pleasant or something you need to work on. So you actually want to create a day for feedback. A day for feedback. Another way you create a day for feedback, I think I shared this last year or 2 years ago, is to make each child a leader in the home. You are not you as the parent for the day, but the child becomes the house leader, you know, responsible for everything in the family, responsible for everything in the family for that day. So you're also watching them. You see how they are leading their siblings. You want to say, oh, so is this how I'm leading? Is this what they are learning from me? Or is this school they are learning all this is from me? They are being mean. You know, I know my daughter, each time she was a leader, then she was very authoritative. You know, she just comes like the Magna Carta kind of leader, you know. So you want to get feedback. Feedbacks are important to help you. They are like reviews. You are a brand. So your feedback from your family members are like reviews that will help you rebrand. That will help you do better. Now the last thing I actually want to talk about is family finances. Now because money is, I've talked about time, yes, bonding as a family. We need major things we actually need to pay attention to when we are creating our family framework. Apart from the ones we have created that align with our vision, we also need framework that help us stand, that are pillars that hold the family. Pillars that hold the family. One is communication. How do we communicate with each other? Even when we are angry at each other, how do we express our anger? It is very, very important. Communication. You are going to create it in your family. I have communication rules here we use in my family, and I'm subject to it. Everyone is subject to the communication rule. I'm going to share. I thought it was my phone. I don't know why it's not in my phone. Communication. Another thing is decision making, because it is very important that we carry our children along in the things we do. Carrying them along is how they understand your values as a family. Carrying them along is how they know that, okay, they are important. So in decisions, we want to carry our children along as much as we can. Like I was saying, I don't know if I've shared this here before, or it was a class I was teaching the other day. See, as a parent, one of the things I want you to do is you want to itemize the decisions you take in your family. Itemize them. Look at the decisions that you have to take for your children. Look at the ones that, okay, both of you have to take together. And lastly, look at the one that only them should take it. Only them should take it, you know. So look at it and divide them. So the ones who take it, you know that, okay, these are the ones I take it. Maybe after taking them, I'll explain to them why I took them. Then the other ones, okay, we have to come together and agree. For example, you want to buy a dress for your daughter. Both of you can come together and agree, okay, I'm buying this dress for you. And okay, I think you need a new dress. Your clothes are becoming undersized, and you need a new dress. Okay, I think you. Okay, I like blue. But this price is expensive. If I buy this dress for 100,000 naira, I will not have money. I wish that all of that, you know. So what do? In carrying them along, you are teaching them how you decision. If I eventually settle for the one of 50,000 naira, why am I doing that? How you make decisions made for them. So there are decisions that you don't even need to interfere at the end of the day. Which choice should I play with? Excuse me. You know, just leave those ones for them. So that's one of the things I want everyone to do. Everyone to house every day, from the big one. Research houses that will make how many decisions a day? I think almost 1,000 or over 1,000 decisions a day, you know, and a lot of them involve our children. So identify the decisions you make. The ones, it has to be you that will make it. You also tell them why. The reason you tell them why is because course, they need to understand the factors influencing your decision. That way, they understand your values better. Then you also take the ones that only you, both of you, take it. I want us to do that. So decision taking is another thing we need to do. When you take decisions with your children, they know that you are carrying them along. They feel valued. They feel important. They actually feel that they are a member of the family, you know. And when you all take decisions together, it becomes easy for everyone to abide. So that is number one. Number two, number one, I say communication. How do you communicate with each other? Number two, I say decision taking. How do you take decision? Now, number three, which is a big elephant in the house, it is your finances, money. As a family, it is very important that you create a system around your money, especially in this era we are now. Last month, I bought provisions for the house, and I spent this month, the money I spent is twice the money I spent last month. And guess what? Christmas, I bought toothpaste. I used to buy, we use the Oral-B toothpaste. I don't remember how much we bought it last. I wanted to buy it today. I remember back in Lagos, it wasn't about less than 500 naira for something or thereabouts. I wanted to buy it today. They told me 6,500 naira for a pack of 6. I had to opt for toothpaste. Sorry, I had to opt for Close-Up, you know. And my husband was saying that Close-Up gives him oh, sorry, ma. I think it's from your end, not from my end. It has not cracked at all because I'm using my router, so it's smooth. So my husband was saying that Close-Up gives him tooth sensitivity. I said, I didn't know. But however, let's watch it and see. You know, money is a major issue. Money will put you under pressure as a parent. Money will put you under pressure as a husband or as a wife. So what you want to do is to be very intentional about your money. I have a friend of mine, you know, he will tell me that, oh, every now and then, the other last week we were together and he was telling me, all through this week I've sent money to my wife. Like he came from a distance. And he was telling me, I've said almost every day I send money to my wife. I told him, no, that is not being wise, you know. You are putting yourself in a tight corner. Draw your family budget. At the end of every month, draw your family budget. What do you spend? You know what to spend on food. You know what to spend on just look at every area your money goes into, because money is a major issue. So in your family framework, you have to be very, very intentional when it comes to money. Look at how much you are making, how much your spouse is making, what goes into your house rent, what goes into your utility bill, what goes into your provision, what goes into your water, what goes into your sanitation, what goes into your feeding, what goes into medicals, what goes into entertainment or recreation, what goes into everything. Just itemize every area of your family that your money goes into. I have my own. Every month I know how much I spend, minus or plus. I know exactly how much I spend every month, minus or plus. How much goes into petrol for your car or for your generator. Write them down. It is going to help you to be sane. When you write them down, then you compare with the money you have. You compare with how much you earn. You compare with how much your spouse earns. When you finish comparing, then you make it realistic. So what can I remove? Like I tell my children, if at the end of the month we are able to economize or not economize, we're able to spend, be prudent with our money, then we can have a lot of money left for fun, entertainment, and all of that. If we are not able to manage the money we have, it simply means that we are not going to be able to have money for fun and entertainment. So what we want to do is, we are even going to borrow from next month's money. You know, we are going to borrow from next month's money. So if you know you have fun, you want fun and entertainment, you want to help by being prudent with the things you do. You want to use toilet papers without wasting. You want to make sure, if you use prepaid, you want to make sure you don't leave your lights on. If your water was paid like they do in the UK and the US, you want to make sure you don't use your water, you don't leave your water running. You want to make sure even your toothpaste, you don't waste it. Even items in the kitchen, you just don't go in the kitchen striking matches up and down, wasting. You just want to make sure that you reduce waste as much as you can so that we can conserve some funds. So money is a major issue, even amongst couple is a very major issue. So it's a major pillar. They say money makes the world go round. It's a major pillar in your family, and so you have to be intentional about it. So at the end of the day, when your children are making demands, you can ask them, okay, the month has not finished, so we don't know if we have money left for entertainment. Let's hope that we have money left, or extra, or miscellaneous. Let's hope that we have money left for extra. If we have money left for extra, we can now visit what we are going to do. If we don't have money left for extra, we can take it to the next month. So money is a very major pillar in the family. So as you create your structure, we are also going to see how we can factor money into it. Talking about rights, talking about privileges, talking about limits, and talking about boundaries when it comes to money, just as it comes to every other thing. Okay, I think that's about all. Yes, that's about all. I ended by talking about three major things. I think it's supposed to be four. I don't remember the fourth one now. Three major things we need to pay extra attention to. I said communication is key in family. Communication is key. Communication is key. Yes, we know that already. So you need to. Personally, I don't like people who talk. I like people who talk. So yes, that is it. That is why I always tell my husband we have to get it right from the start. That when we have issues, don't keep quiet. Don't do the silent treatment. There's nothing like silent treatment, because I'm not a magician. Sometimes I may offend you. I will not even realize it. So how will you give me the silent treatment? I'll start asking, what did I do? What did I not do? What happened? No. Open your mouth and tell me what I have done, and I will apologize to you. As long as you have opened your mouth to tell me what I have done, I will explain to you, and I will apologize to you, even amongst your children. So communication is very key. One of the pillars that holds any relationship, including family. Communication is very key. The next one is decision making. You don't make decision alone. No, you must carry your family, everybody along. No matter how the decision is, carry everyone along as much as you can. And lastly, I talked about money. How we can actually be able to, how we can actually make sure money doesn't come in, money doesn't pressure us, doesn't cause us stress. If you have any questions, you can ask here, or we'll go to the WhatsApp group to ask. I hope at the end of the day, by next week, we are going to be looking at our constitution. Or there's no point looking at the constitution. We already have it, so you can take your family framework now that we have talked about, use it to create your constitution. Use this idea, break them down, then we can talk about them in a group. But however, if there is need for us to look at the constitution, we look at the constitution again together next week. And the next week, and then after that, we'll look at the family structure. If we are not looking at constitution next week, then we'll look at the family structure next week. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are not a visionary parent, if you are not in the Visionary Parent Academy and you are privileged to be here, lucky you. If you want to join us, because we do a whole lot of amazing stuff inside. If you want to join us, feel free to send a message to us, or just leave a message here. Leave your message here. Tell us you want to join us. Ask us how you can join us, and we are ready to welcome you to the family. It's an amazing family of visionary parents who have visions and who are working tirelessly to make sure they achieve their vision. Parents who don't want to be the devil who don't want to plant the seeds that will germinate into the devil that will come to steal, to kill, and destroy in their children's lives tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Let's do it again next week Friday. Good night.